ACES Interviews. Conversations to empower. Introducing the Grumpy Gits.
Hello and welcome to ACES Interviews, Conversation to Empower. I'm the coach and speaker, and today I'm joined by two of four Grumpy Gits, Adam and Martin. Together, they host the world's most popular independent disability show, the Grumpy Gits Show. In each episode, they get their take on topical issues affecting disability, mixed in with humorous group chat and the See Next Tuesday question feature. Thank you for joining me, guys. I was looking through all your episodes, and I see the show has been airing for over 2 years now. The content you discuss is relatable for many, and I'm interested what kind of feedback do you receive for your followers?
The feedback's always really good, and we wanted to make a conscious effort from the word go to make it sort of like accessible. We didn't want to be just a one-note disability podcast that took itself too seriously, because as the slogan of the show says, no one else takes it seriously, why should we? And I wanted to make something that would bring people in rather than pushing people away. And so we make a conscious effort to keep it light-hearted, upbeat, and as positive as we can, but without underplaying some of the serious issues that do go on in the disabled community. And I think we hit it quite well. What do you think, Martin? How do you think we do?
I mean, I'm just going to say that introduction was fantastic. You explained the Grumpy Gits better than we can ever explain it, to be fair. But I have obviously come into the Grumpy Gits quite recently, only for the past sort of, how many months has it been, Adam? I can't remember, but it's only been
three or four.
Yeah. And in my time, I think that the reason I was already a fan of the show before it, and the reason why I was a fan, first of all, was because, like Adam said, they wanted just to make sure that it wasn't taken so seriously and it was fun. And when it comes to the subject of disability all the time, it's always really serious and like gritty, and it always makes people feel negative. It's always like, if you look on at the BBC News website, for example, it's always headlines like, "Oh, I can't leave my home," or always headlines like, "It's hard being disabled and green," and all these things. And that's all fine. That's fine. That's stories and merit. But what the Grumpy Gits offers is that little bit of a relief where disability kind of threads itself through, but sometimes it's got absolutely nothing to do with disability at all. It's just four guys and whoever they've got on as guests just having a laugh the way that everybody else does. So for me, I think that's the relatable part when it comes to the Grumpy Gits. That's what makes it successful, is that the disability isn't the elephant in the room, but it is there.
Yeah, like you said, I think that very often in the media when disability is talked about, it's quite serious, and sometimes the real life element is left out of the conversation. At the end of the day, we are just all normal people just trying to live life, and it's good sometimes to have a bit of comedy within all the shit that we had to all cope with all the time.
And I think it's about bringing your personality in as well. So, like for us, for yourself doing your podcast, mate, and then for the rest of us, we all have different backgrounds when it comes to disability, whether it's a lived experience or whether it's the disability that you have or what experience you've had with other disabilities. We all come at it with different personalities away from the disability side of things. That's what makes it work so well, is that even if we were disabled and we were sat in a bar and we bumped into each other, we'd be having the same kind of conversations. And I think that is also a secret part to what doesn't get seen very much when it comes to disabled people within podcasting or radio or TV or online. They're just never like they're never seen to be allowed to express themselves outside of what the disability is. Adam,
Yeah.
No, I agree. I don't think anyone else could have pulled off the quiz show that we pulled off at the expo.
that was a good question.
I'm still apologising to several people about no one told me Evil was going to be there. Let me. but yeah, we try and keep it as upbeat and like real as we can.
Yeah.
And make it much more people focused and disability focused, because a lot of the time I don't want to reinforce the old school medical model. I want to keep it like, oh yeah, the Grumpy Gits, those are 4 top blokes who are and they just happen to be disabled or have disabled kids, but above all else, they're just 4 cracking lads trying to do the right thing in this crazy, crazy world. Whether or not you think the right thing is licking your brother's girlfriend's fingers while they're doing it, that's up to you. And to you thing. I personally don't. However, if you do, go for your life.
What kind of terrorist would shit themselves so that they could not get in trouble at school? I mean,
a wrong'un, a proper wrong'un.
A proper wrong'un. Yeah, exactly.
My next question to you both is, what do you find empowering?
What do we find empowering?
Yeah, because there is a little element of getting into podcasting is a really tricky thing to do, not on a technical level, but you've got to make sure you're in it for the right reasons. And I think a lot of people start up podcasts or become journalists because they just like the sound of their own voice.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure that isn't why you're doing it. And I don't want to name names because they'll come for me, but they know who they are. And so you've got to make sure that you're in it for the right reasons and that you're doing it for the greater good. Of who and what, that's all by the by. I'm not a big fan of throwing around terms like, I'm doing this for the community. What community, brah? So yeah, you've got to make sure you're in it for the right reasons, and that what you're putting out is making the world better rather than keeping it the same or making it worse. And you leave your ego in the Zoom waiting room, and you just make a great show every time.
I think maybe for me, what's empowering is the fact that I get to get up every day. My job is to make sure that I tell stories that are out there. I'm a journalist first and foremost. That's what my job is, and I've got to find stories. But I don't know, this is going to sound quite cliche because we don't really say it very often. But I don't know if Adam's the same as me or whether there's a lot of disabled people out there that can relate. But I find my disability, in a sense, quite empowering. In one sense, my disability takes a lot of the power away, like it really does. But there is an element when I get to sit with Adam and I get to sit with the boys and I get to go to disability expos and I get to play wheelchair rugby league and do all these things, like, I wouldn't have been able to do that without my disability, really. And a lot of characteristics that I've got as a person, whether it be my comedy, my strength, my self-belief, my lack of self-doubt, all that kind of stuff, that kind of stems from the disability aspect of things. But obviously it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because sometimes it takes a lot away for you, and sometimes it can make you feel like that disability makes you more capable than anybody else can imagine. So it's a double-edged sword.
I often say that my disability does a lot of heavy lifting for my really shit personality.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a toss-up, mate, to be honest. It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, finally I'm interesting. Thank God. Only took 38 bloody years.
I mean, could you imagine if we were normal?
Right.
No one would talk to us. So, proper recluse.
Yeah, it definitely adds a bit of interest. Yeah, I think, I would agree with you. I think, obviously, some parts of it are very hard. There are more obstacles for us all to navigate our way around. But I think, having a disability and I give you another insight into the situation.
Yeah.
I did for me that one thing like, is a positive for me. My final question to you both is what difference would you like to see or make in the world?
Go on, Adam, what differences would you like to make and see in the world?
I want people to take an IQ test before I'm allowed to use social media. I want to say, here's the basic level of fucking competence you need before you can comment or even use social media. I'm not saying like get rid of them. I'm not advocating for that kind of thing.
Just wipe them out.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
wipe them all out. Get rid of
No.
them all.
That's not what I'm saying. That's what Martin's saying. Adam Pearson.
Adam Pearson is saying wipe them out now.
That's not what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Not annihilation. Just maybe a little bit, not full on like South Africa. Maybe a little bit of separation. is all I'm saying.
Just to be clear, you want to wipe them all out.
Yeah.
Just so that we're clear.
Yeah. This is all Adam.
You can't tell because it's audio, but Joe is nodding furiously. Joe's all in.
Unfortunately, no audio. It's also video.
Absolutely, see you nodding. Brilliant. No. I just want us to all be a bit kinder to each other and think before we pop off our hilarious one-liners on social media. I spend my life correcting idiots on the internet, and it's just so tiresome. Very tiresome. And people are like, why did you do it? Like, just stop doing it. I'm like, I can't. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going down the rabbit hole. And if I don't do it, no one's going to.
Yeah,
I agree. I shouldn't be doing it. It should be their parents. But where are their parents? Not there. So no, I've got to do it.
I feel like you're the Batman of social media. You're not officially employed to like handle these people, but you feel like there's a kind of another power and other thing that's pushing you towards, you know.
The level of internal corruption has reached the point where I've got to do it.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the world when, you know, when these people when the renegades are getting told not to be renegades, but the biggest renegade that's in the room. So, you know, that's when things don't quite, it's not balanced.
Yeah. Sorry, Leah. I know you're hoping for like, world peace. That's what I should have said. Instead, I went on some massive social media rant.
Yeah, all on to the webcam, I think.
Well, I think that for me, a wee bit about what Adam says, I just think it changes sort of day to day. Sometimes I want to change the world and make the world a better place for all disabled people. Other days, I can't be asked bothering about what other disabled people think. That's my genuine thing. My goalposts change every day. At the moment, you know, I think Adam's absolutely right. I just think we need to be a wee bit kinder to each other because everybody's living in a time in the world where things are quite tough. And I think in particular for some people in our position or people that have got disabilities, you know, it's a lot harder. So I just think, you know, what would I like to see? What would I like to achieve? I'd like to achieve like more, you know, just a wee bit more niceness in the world because it seems at the minute, I don't know if it's just me, I've said this to Adam before, but I feel as though people have got a new level of dickhead about them at the minute. So, you know, that's what I would like to see. I would like us all just to chill out a wee bit. And I'd like to help people achieve that just by doing what Adam does and just telling the idiots to piss off, basically.
Well, yeah, because Ramesh Ranganathan said it really recently in a stand-up show. All we, as blokes, all we've got to do is if there's someone, whether it's a mate or not, if someone around us just says something in public or online that's a little bit shit, just go, oh, mate, come on, mate.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. That's the most effective way guys can tell each other off, is just go, mate.
Sort it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think like with social media, they get now it seemed to be very easy for everyone to put their opinion on a platform and kind of think they can get away with it, and they also sit behind a screen and don't really realize about the power of what they're writing sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, mate. That's it. Just realising what the consequences are before you start writing things, and do your homework and educate yourself. Definitely.
Yeah.
And one thing I learned is you don't always have to have an opinion on
Yeah.
everything. Like when
Yeah.
this whole thing with the Rosie Jones doc kicked off. And I was like, not tweeting. I know Rosie, she's a good mate. I sort of get why people are upset. But this isn't my hill to die on. I did write a tweet. I was gonna wade in. And one of my good friends, Kai, hi Kai, thank you, read the tweet back and went, yeah, don't send that.
Yeah. I'm glad you kind of didn't say it, because I feel like what would happen is you would say something and then people would pay attention to you rather than what the issue was in the first place. Maybe that's the point, but people seem to gravitate towards you online.
Because I'm sexy.
Yeah, mate, obviously. We all know why.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Where and how can people find out more about the Grumpy Gits?
Take it away, Adam. You're the man for this.
You can find us online at the Grumpy Gits Show on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, Grumpy Gits Show. I am Adam_Pearson on Twitter and Adam_Pearson_TV on Instagram. All links and stuff are very much present and correct across all social media platforms. Download, watch along. If you want to send us in a question for our regularly recurring segment, see you next Tuesday. Didn't think of the acronym and rename that, I'll be honest. It's not aged well. But we'll stop with it now.
Well,
you can do that. Martin, where can people find you on your whataboutery?
My whataboutery, if we're on Instagram, mine's is Martin Dougan 11, and then on Twitter it is Marty with an I, Marty Dougan 2012. So that's where you can find me, but it's not hard really. I'm always causing trouble in there, like Adam is. So
great, and I will share over link and username with the interview so people can know exactly where to find you if they don't already. So thank you both very much for joining me. Check out all the other conversations at leoages.co.uk and find out more about my speaking and coaching, and its interview will be that soon with another powerful conversation. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching Ace's Interviews. Find out more about the Grumpy Gits in the show notes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow.